What's up YouTube? This is frequently asked question time. What is the cost to buy a house? Let me show you a calculator that I use to calculate the cost when I buy my sub-sale property. And I will be sharing the apps and tools that I use almost every day. Disclaimer, this video is not sponsored by any of these apps or tools, nor that I affiliate with them. It's just that I think these apps and tools are great, so it's good to share with you guys. Hi, I'm Danico. I'm property investor, business owner, and author. Now, every time when people buying property, all they know is how much deposit needed to secure the property. But many didn't know that buying property, there are many hidden fees. Today, I am going to show you how to make your life easier with these apps and tools. By the way, by the end of this video, I will be sharing one property investment tool created by myself, which you're going to use this to analyze the property that you're going to invest. So make sure that you stay until the end. So the first app is PropertyX Malaysia Home Loan. So once you install the PropertyX app, then you can open it up and it will look like this. It will look like this. So if you are watching from other countries, I'm pretty sure that in your country you will have something similar like this. But the calculation, it will be a little bit different due to the legal fee schedule, and also the stamp duty. It might not be the same, but most probably it won't be the same anyway. So yeah, as for Malaysia, we will use this because it's really catered for Malaysia's property. Now, how are we going to do this? Now, I just walk through how I usually use this. Say for example, I'm going to get 550,000 property, and then for the first two properties you will have 90% of loan. Interest rate average for 2.97 until around 3.3%. But on average, let us put average of 3.18. Now the interest rate, how the bank is going to determine how much the interest rate is going to give it to you is that really depends on your portfolio of your profile. Okay, so if they deem you as a reliable, they will give you lower interest rate. But if they think that you are high risk, they will give you higher interest rate. Okay, on average tenure for the loan is going for like 30 years. So it really depends on you. If you want to have lower tenure, for example 20-25 years, make sure you tell this to your banker upfront how long you want your loan would be. Okay, so as for my case, in this scenario, I put 30 years. So once you key in all the information, just click calculate, done, boom, all the information is here. So market value of 550, I get 90% loan, and therefore my loan value is 495,000 getting from the bank for 30 years and 3.18 interest. Okay, so this is the thing, all the costs when it comes to buying this property. Now, one of the things that people didn't know is the valuation fee right here. Now, why there is a valuation fee is because the bank, when they're going to give you the loan, they need to check what's the valuation of the property, and therefore they will appoint a valuer to produce a valuation report, so that the bank will base on the report and give you the loan. So, but the bank definitely not going to absorb this fee, and therefore you have to pay for this. When you're going to buy this property, your entry cost would be 86,180 ringgit right here. Right? So what is the other information that is important to you is this monthly repayment. Monthly repayment is very important when it comes to property investment. It's because you need to see if the market rental able to give you any cash flow after minus off this installment. Okay, so that is the reason why if the property that you're going to invest, pro tips, way below the monthly installments, means you're buying above the price, or maybe you're getting too much loan for it. So you can always just walk away. Don't buy any property that way below the installments. For example, if the monthly installments is 2,100, like in this case, but the rental is only going for 900 ringgit or 1,200, you might need to consider to just drop this property and move on to the next, because it just doesn't make sense. And of course, if you're buying for own stay, everything's justifiable when it comes to own stay. So this is the app that I use to calculate all my investment property, what is the entry cost to the property that I'm going to invest, right? There's another thing to this, is that amortization table. So why is this important is that you can see how much for the period of time after certain years, how much is a balance loan left. So you can be able to see the balance of the loan after certain of years, so that you can plan better, and you know that how much balance loan left, and then how much is the equity there. Property price will increase through time, and through time, at the same time, when you pay the installments, the loan will slowly reduce. So in between is the equity, means it's your profit from the property in the event that you're going to sell. So this is something that all the investors should know. So the second app that I usually use is the financial calculator. Now, of course, there are many financial calculators right here. The one that I recommend to use is this financial calculators. I use this financial calculator a lot, and it really helped me in calculating the numbers that I need. So once you install the financial calculator and you open it up, it will look like this. So why I like this app is that number one, it's light. Number two is that it has packed with all the calculators inside, so you don't need to install each and individual calculators. Okay, so I usually use this especially on my sharing on their personal finance course. Okay, so during the one that I mentioned most of the time is retirement. So let me show you how to use this, especially on the retirement calculator. So we click on the retirement planner. So let's see how much would you need when you retire. Say for example, if you're going to retire and then you want to live for 20 years before you pass on, and then you need like 5,000 to sustain your lifestyle, then you need to see how much you need to save. So basically, to have 5,000 every month given to you, and for the next 20 years, you will need 747,000, right? This app, this calculator is going to tell you when you're going to retire, this is how much money that you need in order to sustain your lifestyle for the next 20 years until you pass on. So I think this is a very good app. It's highly recommended because it's everything that you need, the basic calculators in there. Now the next app, most likely most of you already have it installed on your phone. So let me bring this up, and you'll probably been using this app for longest time ever. It is Google Map, right? I know you say, oh, it's a Google Map, I've been using it. No, it's not the same, because I'm not just using Google Map just for navigation, right? Yeah, I use Google Map. I used to use Waze to navigate, but these days I use Google Map because I think Google Map is more accurate and Google Map is more intelligent in terms of switching the route, diverting the traffic. So I think Google Map has done a very good job there. So the second thing why I use Google Map is because to look for the area research. Okay, so Google Map is not just navigation. Especially if you're a property investor, you need to use the Google Map. Okay, the Google Map, definitely the best one is for you to use the desktop version. Okay, but sometimes on the go, I will need the map to see what's in surrounding area would be, what's in that area. So that's why I will use Google Map. Okay, of course in the navigation one, you just use the default one. But when it comes to research, then I will definitely use the satellite, because this will enable me to see anything's happening in an area. For example, if I were to look into this area, is there any vacant land or any potential development in this area? Okay, so this is something that I use often. Now, the second thing, which probably I'm not sure if you use it or maybe you're aware of this, is to look for the public transport. Now, why we use the public transport when you activate this is for us to see if the property that we are going to invest is close to any public transport. The reason being why we look for the property close to public transport is because we need to know if the property that we are going to invest is convenient for our prospect tenant. That's it. Because the tenants, we need to make sure that they are convenient for them to commute to work. The chances for your property to be rented out is much higher if your property is close to the public transport, as to compare if the place and the property is further out, right? Exactly the same thing, that if your property is close to the public transport, then you could potentially fetch higher rental. Now, this is exactly the same thing I mentioned in my book here. In the book, I mentioned how you look for the infrastructure, and then how you should invest, how you should look into the property to invest. All right. So, but obviously, I didn't mention that you can use the Google Map to do research like this. So this is a few of the features that some of the people didn't utilize as part of their research. And the best thing is, I could investing in Bangkok, but during the research time period, I don't need to fly there in order to know what's happening in that area. Now, remember, when you go to the site, it's meant for you to do verification work. All right, you don't go to the site to do research. You do research beforehand, and you go to the site to verify if your research is correct. Because this is, I think, I've done so many research on the property. I think this is the best method out there. Research first, and then go to the site to verify that your research is correct. So this is my favorite app. I recommend for all the investors to use this. So the second thing is that you can, if you use the desktop version, you can plot and save your location. Okay, but obviously if you use this app, you can still do the same job. For example, you went to the site, you know where's the location, you know what you're looking at, so you can just pin that location and then put a note in there, so you can always refer it back and revisit that place again. So this app, Google Map, is free and it is highly recommended. Now the last app would be Waveapp. Okay, this is, although it's called Waveapp, but it's not actually the mobile app. It's actually it's a web-based software. Now what it does is actually the financial software. It's accounting. It comes with accounting functions that you can use to record all your transactions, especially income and expenses. Now, if you have multiple properties that you want to keep track of the rentals coming in, how much expenses that you spent to repair, all the bills, you can do it manually, you can do it in Excel, but this is way better and it's organized and it's actually on the cloud, so that you don't need to keep physical file. So everything is there, and then when it comes to reporting, you just generate the report. It's nicely done and you can easily keep track. Now the best of all, this is free. This is absolutely free. I have been using for more than 2 to 3 years, and this is one of the free app financially to keep track of your property if you're having multiple properties, or even if you have one property but you are subletting into multiple rooms. This is the thing that you should be using. Highly recommended. Now once you registered an account, so you will get into the dashboard like this. Now what it does is that you have a record. If you want to record sales, the invoice, any recurring invoice from your tenants, all this. Now you can use this software not just on the property itself, but you can do it for your actual business Okay, this is a really full pack with the features, but I used it to record all my income and expenses in my property, right? And you can create bills, whichever the bills that you paid to manage your property, you can insert it here. And then also it has the accounting features where you can see transactions in one place. And of course there's a payroll as well, but if you're doing just for yourself, then you don't need this feature. So like I said, if you spend some expenses and you have a receipt, then you can import it here. So this is an example that I put in. I'll just randomly put in to show you guys how it's like, okay, of the receipt, and then you can keep track all your expenses like this. And this is the accounting, all the transaction you can just put in there. So it's really nicely done. So everything is recorded, and the best thing is free. So you will get very good record keeping for this, and then you don't need to use any of the paper. This system is definitely paperless, which I think is very neatly done. And the last one would be the reporting. So you can, when you click on the reporting, you can see a lot of features right here. So it depends on what kind of reports that you need, and then you just click on it and then it will generate by itself. So no manual work at all. Even if you use Excel, you need to format it and then export it. But this one, everything will be put into place with all the categories, which I think is a really neat. Okay, so yeah, this one is a free software. I highly recommend it for all of you if you're doing a small business, if you are running multiple properties, multiple rooms. This is the app that you can actually use, and it is really powerful. Okay, so you just create a free account and then you just play around with anything that in there. So there you go, all the apps and tools that I use on a daily basis. So if you want to use the app, you can get them in the link in the description below. Now, as promised, I created this property investment simulator where you can use it to determine, once you set up it correctly, you can determine how much is the initial cost when you're going to invest in property. And then once you survey the market, you know how much is the rental yield. Once you've done that, you'll be able to see in the long run how much are you getting if you're keeping the property for 15 years, for 20 years, or maybe if you're keeping for 30 years, how much is the capital appreciation for your particular property and how much you're getting the return. And obviously inside the tool you will have the cash flow analysis as well. So this is for who? It's for property investor, whether you are seasoned investor or if you are new beginners in property. You need this tool to play around to forecast what is like for your property. So basically it's a free tool for you to use as a simulator for your property. Now you just go down there in the description below to download the free tool, right? And then I'll see you in the next video.